Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inshallah, I shall try to explain to you now percentage problems in algebra. Now, the first thing that we have to learn is what does the word percent mean? The word percent, okay, means for every 100. For every 100, right? So if somebody says 12%, that's the same thing as 12 for every 100 of whatever, 12 over 100. And another way of writing the same thing is 0.12, 12 divided by 100. These three expressions, this, and this, they mean the same thing. They're the same way of writing the same number. This is a number, this is a number, this is a number. They all express the same number. So when we say 13.5%, for example, this can be written as 13.5 over 100. And this can also be written as 0.135. This number and this number and this number, they're all the same number. They express the same thing. Now, here what I have done is I have said, okay, 12% is the same as 12 over 100 is the same thing as 0.12, right? So it's pretty easy to go from here into from here, but we should be very comfortable also going backwards like this. Okay, so when somebody says 0.12, now you have to understand this is the same. Another way of writing this same number is 12%, right? If somebody says 0.20, another way of writing the same thing is 20%, because 20% is 20 over 100, which is 0.20. So the first thing that we have to understand about these percentage problems is understanding that all these, they mean the same thing. They're trying to express the same number, and that, like that. The percentage symbol is just a symbol. It's nothing special about it. Somebody could have picked some other symbol instead of that. They could have picked, I don't know, they could have picked something like this, right? Instead of that symbol. But that's how it happens. So they picked that symbol. Okay? So that's one thing. Okay? So the word cent, as you know, means like per 100, right? Like century is like 100. There are 100 cents in $1, right? So that's from that. So now here's the concept. Let's say you have a test, you take a test, and it's a 50-question test, and then the student answers 45 questions correctly, right? Now, if the same test had 100 questions, right? How many of those questions would the student get correct? Well, they would get, twice as many. It would be 90, right? Now, observe this, right? If there are 45 questions correct out of 50, that's the same thing as they got 90 questions out of 100, correct? So 90 is 0.90, which is, right, 90%. You follow? So 45 over 50 is 90%. Now, if you take the calculator here, let's see, if you take a calculator, so you take 45 and you divide it by 50, you get 0.9, correct? So you can express the same as 0.9 as a percentage. Okay, so that's going to be moved the decimal 2 places. That's 90%. Correct? So let's say a test has 65 questions and the student has a bad day, they're sick and they can't focus, and they get like 32 questions correct, right? So what percentage is that? Well, that's easy enough, so let's do that. So 32 divided by 65, that's an irrational number, 0.4923. So let's just write 4 decimals, 0.4923. As a percentage, you can say this is the same thing as 49.23 rounded off percentage. In other words, if the test had 100 questions instead of 65, the student, if their performance was the same, okay, they would get 49.23 of my 49 questions correct, right? So that's the concept of percentages. How much per 100? Now, for us, we have to be able to solve questions like this. What is 12% of, 80? Okay? So what is 12% of 80? The way you do these questions is, whatever questions that you have about percentage, the first skill that you have to acquire is that you have to be able to articulate it or to say it in words in a question form like this. So whatever question you're doing, you put it in words. You put it in words like this. And once you've done that, it becomes very easy actually, because then you translate that into an equation. Because every single word here, you can be expressed in a mathematical form. For example, what, of course, in mathematics, that's all translated as a variable, x. We don't know what is, so we put an x there. The word is the same thing as an equal sign, right? When you say x is 5, x equals 5. So the word is, as you probably already know, translates into an equal sign. 12% is 12 over 100, right? Okay? And then you can translate that over here. If you wanted to, you can also write it as like this instead of that, right? So we'll just write it like this. And the word of translate as multiplication. Okay? It's multiplication. So whenever you hear the word of spoken, that translates into a multiplication sign. So the word is equal, the word of is a multiplication sign, and 80. So this becomes like this. And then here's the easy enough solve. You simplify this expression. So let's say 12, divided by 100, all right, times 80. Ta-da! It is 9.6. So this is 9.6. So x is 9.6. You can just multiply the tops and divide by 100, however you do it. Okay? Now we can say this, 9.6 is 12% of 80. See? What is it? 9.6 is 12% of 80. Okay? So when solving percentage equations, you translate them into equations. Percent questions, you translate them. Here's another one. 18 is what percent of, let's just say, let's say 80. That sounds good enough. So let's translate this into an equation. Same thing. 18, the word is translates into equal sign. Okay. Now what percent, that will translate as an x. Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for what percent. And then the word of will translate as the multiplication sign. And then 80. We have 80. And then we just solve this equation by dividing both sides by 80 like this. Correct? So then x will be 18 divided by 80. Let's do that. 18 divided by 80. Okay, then you get 0.225. Okay, so 0.225, right? Now this is percentage we're solving for, right? But that's cool. Okay, we can write this as a percentage. 0.225, the same thing as 22.5 percentage. You follow? Because just like 0.12 is another way of writing 12%, 0.225 is the same thing as 22.5%. Right? So 18 is 22.5% of 80. Correct? Okay. All right. Here's another example. 45 is 28% of what number? You see, in each of these, we're trying something different. We're solving for something different. One, you're trying for this, some 10%. Now we're going to solve for this. But no biggie. We can do this. Watch this. Translate this into an equation. So 45, okay, equals 28%. You can write it as that, or you can just write it at a point. Okay, 28 over 100. I'll do this for now. And then this word of, we'll translate as multiplication, and x. What number? Right? Now we have to solve this for x. Now how do you solve this for x, right? Well, you multiply both sides by the reciprocal. See? 100 over 28. 100 over 28, like this. Correct? When you solve in fraction like this, okay, 2/3 x like this, you multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Because then these cancel, see? There's 15 over 2. Okay? So that's what we're doing. You're multiplying both sides by the reciprocal. Okay? Now, if you had written this equation, if you had translated this equation like this, 45 equals 28%, which is 0.28, right? Times x, right? Then you divide both sides by 0.28. And you would get the same answer, okay? Alright, so now we do quadratic chop. Ta-da, like this. Then x is going to equal to, now you have to do it, 100 times 45 over 28. Let's do that. 100 times 45, is that right? Divided by 28. That's going to be 100 and, did I do that right? Yes. 160.71. We'll round it off. 160.71. Okay, that is the answer. So 45 is 28% of, let's round it off, 161. How about that? You follow? So that's really it, solving these. So the harder part of these questions is formulating this over here. Okay? But we have learned how to take a expression like 18 is what percent of 45, for example. And then you just translate this into an equation, and this becomes very reasonably easy to solve. Okay? So we did two things so far. First, I have defined for you what it means, the percentage means, what the concept of percentage means. And then we have solved percentage equations. Okay, some equations, percentage equations. The third thing is I just want to do some more common percentage problems, okay, that we encounter almost on a daily basis. Okay? Percent problems. Okay, so let's say you go shopping. You go shopping with your parents. And let's say they want to buy, I don't know what they want to buy. Let's say they want to buy a new, a microwave oven, let's just say. I don't know how much it costs. Maybe it costs, let's say a nice microwave, it costs like, I don't know, $150. Alright. But then, see, the good thing is the microwave oven is 15% off. Let's say not 15% off. We'll make it 12% off, okay? You follow? You get a discount. You get 12% off. So what I like to know is how much will the microwave oven cost after that 12% off? Right? After the 12% is off. So what you have to do here is, see, you have to find 12% of this and you subtract it from the 150, right? Okay. But there's two ways of doing it. There's the hard way and there's the easy way, I think. I'm going to try to suggest to you the easy way. Oopsie daisy. Okay, I'm going to try to suggest to you how I do it, okay? Which is, I think, works quite well. Alright. Now look. Pretend this is like the whole price of the oven from here to here, okay? This whole thing is, pretend this is like when it's $150, okay? Pretend that. Now, see, if you have 12% off, that means you're gonna like knock off 12%, right? You're gonna like take this, which is 12%, right? So that's 12%, and like knock it off, right? So it's gonna be like this. The price is gonna be decreased by 12%. So you're only gonna have to pay this much, right? You follow? So if the whole thing is 100%, right? This is the whole price. If you take 12% off, that means you're only going to have to pay this much, right? So how much percentage is left? Well, 12% is knocked off. So what's going to be left is 88%, right? Correct? So 88% is what you're going to have to pay. So you have to go to the counter and you're going to have to pay 88% of the price. Okay? 88% of the price. So the question then becomes, what is 88% of 150? Right? That's easy enough. What's this? X equals 88% can be written as 0.88 and times 150. Right? What's 0.88? 0.88 times 150? 132. Okay? So that's how much you're going to have to pay after that discount, 12% discount. Okay? Now, let's do another one. Let's say somebody goes and they buy, I don't know what they buy, the groceries cost, oh no, they buy a washing machine. I don't know how much that costs, washing machine, okay? Let's say that's a pretty hefty price. Let's say $480, okay? But then they get like, I don't know, they get like 15% off. There's a big sale going on, okay? They got 15% off, alright? It's like sale, super sale, okay? Now how much do you gonna have to pay, right? So same thing, watch this. So let's say pretend this is the price, correct? If this whole thing is the price, this is $480. And then you're going to knock off 15%. So this is going to be like knocked off, right? You're going to end up paying this much, right? You're going to end up paying this much. Well, if 15% is taken off, you're going to have to pay 85% of the original price, right? Follow? So then it says, what is 85% of 480? Okay, this is just X is 85%, 0.85 of 480. Let's do that. Okay, 0.885 times 480, 408. You follow? That's how much you're going to have to pay. Does that make sense? Okay, now that's one thing, see? Alright, so here's another problem. It's a pretty common problem. You have sales going all the time, right? Let's say somebody goes to, I don't know, they go to a restaurant with their family, and there's a big family, very generous, that big meal, and the whole meal costs them $130 for the whole family. Nice restaurant. Okay? And the nice place. And then, but then you have to pay tax on that, see? The tax on that, right? Let's just say, I don't know what the tax is. Let's say 8% tax. Now, tax is added to this price, right? You're not taking, it's not like off. It's not tax, you don't like you get 8% off. You know, taxes don't work that. Taxes you have to pay extra. So here is the price, okay? Imagine that's the price. So all of this is like $130. Okay. Now what you're going to do here is you're going to add 8% tax. What do you mean 8% of what? 8% is the whole thing, right? So you're going to take 8%, whatever that is, right? And then you can stack up this 8% on top of that in addition to the whole price, right? It's like this. You follow? So you're going to figure out what 8% of the whole thing is, and you add it to that. So the final price is going to be this whole thing. It's going to be bigger than this, right? You follow? Now this whole thing, right, from here, original price, this is the 100% of the price, right? You took 8% of that and you added to it another 8%. So the total cost is actually going to be just addition of those two. It's going to be 108% of the original price. Yeah? So you took 8% and you added on top. The whole thing is going to be 108%. Alright, so that's just what is 108% of 130? That's your question. So x equals, now you have to turn that into percentage, boom, boom, 1.08 times 130. So let's do that. 1.08 times 130. 140.4. 140.4 is $140.40. Does that make sense? Okay, let's do one more like this. Somebody buys groceries, okay, and the groceries cost them $64. And then they have to pay 7% tax on that. This again, right? Same thing. So this is the cost of the grocery. On top of that, you're going to add to it 7%. You're going to take this and whatever the 7% of this is, you're going to add it on top of that, right? You're going to pay extra 7%. So the total is going to be 107% of the original price. 100% plus 7%, right? So it's going to be, so what is 107% of 64? So del x equals 1.07. You can do it like this, as I did, just convert it to a decimal form, or you could do it like this, okay, like that. In these cases, it's just easier to just convert it to decimal form. If you had a calculator with you, 1.07 times 64. So 1.07 times 64, 68.48. That is 68.48. Okay. So that's the total cost after the 7% tax, $68.48. Okay. So I hope that clears up some of these type of questions. These are very important, actually. We use them every day. So I hope you appreciate that. Inshallah, when we have the opportunity, we'll do more sample questions. Until then, Assalamu alaikum.